After the fall of Uranus, the world entered the brilliant age of Greek mythology. Numerous more titans and divine beings were born during this time, and the world thrived. Whereas Rhea acquired her mother's adoring beauty, Cronus acquired his father's frequent suspicion. When their children were born, Cronus ate them one by one, but for the most youthful, who was concealed by Rhea deceiving Cronus into eating up a stone swaddled in cloth, as fate would have it. This child would one day develop enough to oust Cronus. This child's title is Zeus. Maria concealed Zeus on the island of Crete, where he would be secure from Cronus's deceptive craving. She depended on Zeus to take care of the sustaining goat, Amalthea, and a band of committed sprites together. They guaranteed that Zeus flourished in their defensive grasp. Under their careful eyes, Zeus flourished, fed by Amalthea's drain and the nymph's shrewdness. Amid the tender whispers of the fairies, Zeus was amused with stories of divine splendor and the courageous deeds of divine beings and titans. This captivating account, imbued with the quintessence of Olympus, blended the youthful god's heart, arousing a fire of assurance inside him. Covered up from Cronus, Zeus ingested the intelligence of his ethereal family, becoming a guide of trust and potential ordained for enormity. As Zeus matured into youth, dreams of greatness and freedom filled his visionary intellect. He longed to break the chains that bound his kin and topple the oppression of Cronus. Looking for direction among the gods, he turned his look to meet the snugness of shrewdness. Metis was the girl of the Titans Ceres and Tessis. She was considered one of the most astute creatures in all of creation. She divulged a covered-up truth to Zeus. Cronus was not invulnerable. The Titan ruler harbored a defenselessness, a helplessness to a divine remedy that might sap his quality. Motivated by this disclosure and recognizing the potential of this venturesome plot, Medusa, fueled by a shared want for equity, advertised her wholehearted bolster. Together, they planned to bring around the destruction of Cronus and clear the way for the rise of the Olympians. Within the mystery profundities of their covert gatherings, Zeus and Medusa brought forth their technique, lacing their destinies in the interest of a shared predetermination. Medusa's visionary understanding demonstrated instrumental in organizing the subtle elements of the arrangement, whereas Zeus, motivated by her intelligence, sharpened his resolve to execute their brave plot. Guided by Medusa's shrewd guide, Zeus manufactured a venturesome arrangement to secure triumph and free his captive kin from the profundities of their detainment. Equipped with the remedy, he set forward to fulfill his predetermination and challenge the domain of Cronus, a drive that had long grasped the universe in its onerous clutches. As Zeus developed in quality and control over Crete, he calmly anticipated the proper minute to stand up to his father. When the time came, Zeus returned to Mount Olympus, where Cronus ruled as the ruler of the Titans. There, he skillfully masked himself as a cupbearer and displayed Cronus with the remedy to extinguish his thirst. Uninformed of Zeus's genuine character, Cronus acknowledged the drink. Small did he know that the elixir was an effective emetic, causing him to disgorge the substance of his stomach. With the impacts of the potion taking hold, Cronus was constrained to chuck up his gulp descendant. As the divine kin rose from Cronus's stomach, they were thankful to Zeus for his resourcefulness and bravery. Zeus's journey for opportunity and equity has driven him to assemble his kin, the primary 6 Olympians. To begin with, came Hestia, the goddess of the hearth. She was tender and brilliant, the encapsulation of warmth and neighborliness. She graced each domestic and hearth, filling it with the comforting grasp of family and cherish. She has spoken to the sacrosanct fire that burned in each family. Among the divine kin, Hestia held the honor of being the eldest, venerated for her sustaining presence that brought concordance to her divine beings. She emanated a quiet air, cultivating a sense of security and having a place. Even though she did not effectively lock in combat, her nearness gave consolation and soundness to the Olympians, serving as a signal of warmth and solidarity. Following was Demeter, the goddess of horticulture. She sustained life and strolled the soil with beauty and grandness. She held the control to influence the seasons and support plenteous harvests. Presenting thriving upon the mortal domain, the earth bloomed beneath her care, and mortals loved her as the provider of life. Her nearness oozed ripeness and wealth, and her touch brought forward bountiful harvests. She fed the Olympians and their strengths, guaranteeing their quality and imperativeness. Her capacity to control the seasons and develop bountiful crops was an important resource. Hera, the ruler of divine beings and goddess of marriage, emanated a discussion of specialism and shrewdness. As the goddess of marriage, she managed sacrosanct unions, advertising her information and assurance to all who looked for her advice. Her nearness oozed a majestic atmosphere, and indeed her individual Olympians regarded her as an imposing drive. Her majestic beauty and intelligence made her a column of authority and direction. She has given vital direction to Zeus and backed him amid his successes. Her divine specialist and intelligence were instrumental in the Olympian victory. Taking after them was Hades, the god of the black market. Hades was a shadowy figure, hidden in secret. The domain of the dead lay beneath his imperial run the show, and whereas a few may have dreaded him, his fair-minded judgment guaranteed souls found their legitimate put within the life following death. Hades, though at times seen among the living, commanded regard and wonder, directing over things of life and passing. With his gigantic quality and vital ability, Hades' part was vital. His domain over the domain of the dead allowed him to get to powerful strengths that may tip the scales of the fight. Poseidon, the god of the oceans, commanded tremendous sea might. His domain over the oceans propelled both fear and respect, as he unleashed effective storms and calmed turbulent waters. With a gutsy soul he wandered the profundities of the ocean, strange and captivating and rose to a degree. Poseidon's feelings reflect the ever-changing tides, from calm tranquility to seething storms. His anger may be as fierce as the foremost rough tidal wave, and his generosity seems to alleviate disturbed waters and bring forward a bountiful harvest of angle. And of course there was Zeus, the ruler of divine beings, charismatic and yearning. His booming nearness reverberated over the sky, forming the exceptional texture of presence with might and shrewd administration. Zeus held domain over the skies, his powers controlling the thunder and lightning itself. He was the most youthful and most capable among them, predetermined for greatness. Zeus's quality and authority put him at the bleeding edge of the war, reviving his partners and directing them to triumph. Everything since Rhea's quick-thinking medicine's tricky arrangement, and Zeus's faithful assurance. They were able to set into motion the occasions that drove Zeus to free his kin, and set the arrangement for the extraordinary Titan War, the Titanomachy. The Titanomachy was a 10-year cataclysmic fight that would decide the destiny of the universe. Cronus energized his individual titans to battle nearby him, and he was joined by his brothers. Coeus, the titan of judgment skills, formulated complex plans and strategies that outmaneuvered the divine beings. Crius, the titan of awareness, summoned firmament powers that shook the exceptionally fine texture of reality with his infinite control. Hyperion, the titan of light, blinded the vision of the Olympians and their partners with blinding brilliance, and Iapetus, the titan of mortality, battled with tireless assurance, striking down divine beings and mortal creatures alike. Cronus was too joined by the individuals of the more youthful era of Titans. Two of them were the children of Iapetus and Clymene, the girl of Oceanus. Atlas, the Titan of perseverance, was known for his extraordinary qualities. He was an impressive warrior and a faithful supporter of his father and uncle. Amid the Titanomachy, Atlas stood by Cronus's side, acting as the commander of the Titans. Battling furiously against Zeus and the Olympians, and Menopause, the Titan of impulsiveness, was known for his furious and rough nature in fights. Amid the war, Zeus impacted him with a streak of lightning, sending him down to Tartarus for his hubris. Be that as it may, not all the Titans concurred with Cronus. Oceanus, Mnemosyne, Phoebe, Tessis, Themis, Thea, and numerous of the more youthful eras of Titans all chose to remain impartial or fair-minded. As for the Olympian side, Zeus was joined by his brothers Poseidon and Hades. His sisters Hera, Demeter, and Hestia chose not to effectively take part in combat amid the war but did back their brothers' cause. They were indeed upheld by a few of the Titans. One of them was another child of Iapetus, and Climates, battling on opposite sides of his family. Prometheus, the Titan god of thinking ahead, was known for his insights and liking for mortals. He defied Cronus and his father, choosing to side with the Olympians. Prometheus acted as a strategist during the war. He saw the potential in Zeus and recognized that the Olympians had a better chance of bringing order and justice to the world. Themis, the snugness of divine arrangement and equity, moreover, chose to side with the Olympians amid the strife, even though the Titans were her family, and she felt the pull of familial bonds. Themis knew that her obligation rose above individual ties. She guaranteed to adjust, and nobility won amid the war, and her nearness was an image of objectivity and sound judgment. She observed the unfurling occasions with an observing eye, arranged to maintain her divine equity. The previously mentioned snugness of Medusa and Rhea, although not dynamic on the front line, was instrumental in Zeus's survival in childhood and the protection of the Olympians. As the war seethed on year after year, neither one nor the other side was willing to acquiesce. The Titans battled furiously, unwilling to give up their domain over the universe. Cronus, the once mighty lord of the Titans, drove the charge with his imposing quality and tricky methodologies, posturing an impressive challenge to Zeus and his partners. It was at that point that Zeus got an essential disclosure from Gaia, the primordial goddess of the soil. She encouraged him to free her children, the Cyclops and Hecatonchires, from their detainment in Tartarus, and upon discharging them, Zeus picked up effective partners. Their imposing quality and craftsmanship would demonstrate importance throughout the war. The Cyclops, experts of creativity, produced divine weapons that would shape the tides of war. They created the thunderbolts for Zeus, the trident for Poseidon, and a steerage of obscurity for Hades. The Hecatonchires, with their 100 effective arms, overpowered the Titans with their unrivaled quality, obliterating all those who crossed their way. With the Cyclopes and Hecatonchires by their side, the Olympians and their partners unleashing their might upon the Titans, the war zone trembled, the sky thundered, and the destiny of the universe hung within the adjust. After 10 long years of unwavering battles, the Olympians turned the tide of war. Despite their impressive enemies, the Olympians were encouraged by Zeus's administration, and their unflinching assurance stood firm. The fight comes to its climactic peak when Zeus goes up against Cronus in a titanic clash of wills and control. With a powerful swing of his thunderbolt, Zeus struck Cronus, debilitating him and unleashing a cascade of divine strengths upon the Titans. One by one, the Titans fell sometime recently after the invasion of the Olympians. Zeus struck down Cronus with a deafening blow, ending the Titan King's overbearing rule. Triumph had a place for the Olympians. An unused time started. Zeus cast Cronus within the restricting Titans down into the darkest profundities of Tartarus. Atlas, be that as it may, was sentenced to an extraordinary destiny. Having restricted Zeus amid the war, he was presently condemned to carry the world on his shoulders. For the rest of the time, having vanquished the Titans, the Olympians climbed to Mount Olympus, where they were under divine control. Zeus, the most youthful and mightiest, claimed the position of authority as the ruler of divine beings, using the thunderbolt as an image of his amazingness. He took Hera as his ruler, and together they brought agreement to the divine domain, had to go to the unceasing fire, and Demeter guaranteed the earth's fertility. Hades ruled over the domain of the dead, whereas Poseidon commanded the oceans. Together, the Olympians formed a pantheon of divine beings, introducing a modern age of divine arrangement and steadiness. Their stories would persevere, captivating the hearts of mortals, a confirmation of the eternal battle between chaos and the triumph of the divine over all impediments. But the story does not conclude here. The Olympians would bring upon a period of extension and development, giving rise to endless gods, heroes, and mortals. Gods that would go on to connect the Olympians on Mount Olympus, heroes that would alter the course of fate, and mortals that would go on to shape the world as we know it.